had no idea how these drugs took over your life and your brain and turned you into somebody that you're not.
A message of hope, a recovering addict now speaking out, sharing her story with WAND News. Thanks for being with us. The heroin epidemic happening everywhere, including right here in Central Illinois. It's people of every socioeconomic status. That's the message a Champaign County woman is trying to get out while sharing her story of addiction. WAND's Kathleen Cohen in the studio tonight with an exclusive report with how one woman hopes her story will impact others.
Jamie Smith, a wife and mom of 4, tells me her addiction started with a group of moms who were swapping antidepressants and painkillers. From there, her addiction spun out of control. Jamie is sharing her story to let others who are suffering know they're not alone. It all started in 2013. Jamie Smith and her husband had just moved to St. Joseph, Illinois.
I was going through a really hard time. I had met several other mothers in my community who introduced me to antidepressants and hydrocodone.
That's when the addiction began.
Eventually I was taking it every day and then combining it with like Oxycontin, Percocet, and methadone, Xanax, lorazepam, all of these different drugs. And when I look back now, when I tell my story, it was like I belonged in a pill gang. It was a bunch of women all swapping pills.
It wasn't long before Jamie's addiction escalated.
I was no longer taking pills or snorting to get high. I was doing it to feel normal again because that's the only way I could function.
Switching from painkillers prescribed by doctors to heroin.
And I was able to get a $20 bag of heroin delivered to my house and began snorting it. And before long, I was shooting it. Ended up leaving my life.
The mom of 4 lost her job, lost her friends, lost her sense of self.
I was alone and had this big, deep, dark secret. My husband didn't know. My family didn't know. And I was a 38-year-old married mother shooting heroin.
Jamie hit rock bottom, leaving her family and moving to Chicago with an abusive drug dealer. Her family trying desperately to get her to come home.
At that point, I didn't want to live. I wanted to die. I saw no way out. So I had blocked them from my phone. They had called local authorities to find me. So I really had no choice. I had to come home. And I was really upset when I had to come home. I sent my husband and my kids off to work and school one morning, and I tried to commit suicide. I tried to give myself an intentional overdose. I was found in the bathroom. I was given Narcan, and 3 days later, I went into inpatient rehab and got myself clean and got myself sober.
Jamie is now 9 months sober. She's taking to social media, sharing her story and spreading a message of hope, wanting those suffering to know
that they're not alone and that you don't have to be ashamed, and recovery is possible. You don't have to live like this. There is a life after addiction, and please, please, please reach out.
Jamie is back home with her husband and 4 kids.
Amazing. I feel like I have my life back, and I never, ever thought I could have my life back.
Working every day to inspire others to live life clean and to the fullest. Jamie tells me the problem is also in schools. She says her goal is to talk to kids, to educate them about opioids and heroin, to try to stop the epidemic from happening in her community. We'll have more on Jamie's road to recovery and the rehab process at a later date. Kathleen Cohen, WAND News.